Hello friends, Ashton here with Gents. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you guys are having a great day today. So today's gonna be a review of a fragrance line. These fragrances were sent to me for review by Max Aroma. So, shout out Max Aroma. You guys already know, but in case you don't, Max Aroma is a great discounter. It's a place where you can buy discounted fragrances. We've got those high quality fragrances with the low prices. Fragrances that I'm taking a look at today are from the Maserati collection. As well, there's also going to be a coupon code associated with these fragrances and a giveaway where one of you will win a tester bottle of a fragrance of your choice. As usual, the fact that these were sent to me for review does not affect my review whatsoever. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. All right guys, let's go ahead and check out this presentation. Here we have the box. You got the name of the house and fragrance here on the front. Then on the back, you have the size and concentration. You have this little official Maserati sticker on the side. There's nothing on the top. And on the bottom, you have your ingredient information. Box opens up like so, and the fragrance sits down inside. This is just cardboard down here, and it is a little bit thin. The box itself is a reinforced cardboard, so it has a little more heft to it. And here is the bottle. Again, name of the house, name of the fragrance, right here on the front. It has this kind of faux leather wrap around the cap. It does not click into place, it slides into place. And then you have the little Maserati logo on the top of the cap. The atomizer on these is so-so. It doesn't really spray out a ton of fragrance. On the bottom, you just have a sticker like so on each one of the bottles. And the bottle shape itself is just a plain square shape. It is quite wide. The glass is quite thick. It is heavy in your hand. Just kind of a basic design. There you have it, the presentation for the Maserati line of fragrances. All right, my friends, let us start off with this one, Maserati Pure Code Blue. This one is the one that probably would appeal to the most of you out there as far as the note breakdown goes. Like just looking at the notes, not knowing anything about the fragrances, this is the one that I would think most of you would gravitate toward. But let's talk about the fragrance. This opens with an aquatic note, apple, and a green violet. There's also some lemony citrus in the opening, but the citrus is not as powerful as the apple is. It is definitely crushed by the apple note. There's also a tiny amount of spice in the opening, but I can't pinpoint what that spice is. And honestly, again, that spice note underneath the aquatics, underneath the apple. Pure Code Blue initially is not super impressive. The notes come across muddled. Now after about 5 minutes, it starts to settle down and it smells a little bit better. It starts to turn into a little bit of a tropical aquatic fragrance. Now this does have a pina colada note. It also has an iced lemon note, and I think that's what would really draw people to wanting this fragrance if they haven't smelled it. Now the pina colada does not come across strong. You don't really pick it up. There is a very small hint of a coconut vibe, like a coconut note, which I imagine is what the pina colada is supposed to be in this, is that coconut. But you really have to search for it. It's not something where you're gonna smell this and be like, oh, coconut, or oh, pina colada. It's something where you have to really smell closely and then think about it and you're like, I think that's the coconut. So do not go into this thinking it's going to be a great tropical summer fragrance, you know, something that's really gonna knock your socks off. It's not that. As it dries down, the C notes remain. You get a little bit of a white musk and a clean vetiver. That vetiver gives the base a very slight woodsy feel. In the dry down, there's also a touch of amber that warms up the fragrance a little bit, and that aqueous green violet from the opening is there in the dry down. Now, when this is in the very far dry down, when it's been on your skin for a couple of hours, and we'll talk about longevity here in a second, but when it's been on your skin for a couple of hours and you put your nose right up to where you sprayed it, which is pretty much what you have to do at that point, it does have a similar vibe to Secretions Magnifique. I imagine it's that pina colada / coconut that's in this. You never really pick it up strongly, but in the dry down, when there's almost nothing left, you can still pick that note up, and it's a little bit metallic, and it kind of reminds me of the metallic milky note in Secretions Magnifique. 75% similar. So just be aware of that. Longevity on this is not good. We're talking 3 hours maybe longevity. Projection best in the first 15-20 minutes. After that, it sits really close to the skin. So this is a fragrance that does not last, and it does not project. And overall, that one is gonna be more of a spring and summer fragrance, daytime casual wear. Okay, on to the next. Next, we're gonna talk about this one, Maserati Centennial Polo Tour. This is very fresh and spicy off the top. You get a little bit of citrus and then a spicy sweet nutmeg. It also has notes that come across like greenery, like just smelling greens maybe in a garden, and also violet. So this shares violet with the last fragrance. There is a slight undertone here, like a slight synthetic undertone to the notes. I wouldn't say that it's overly strong. It doesn't kill the fragrance, you know, it doesn't make it into super trash or anything, but just be aware that it's there. You pick up incense about 5 minutes in, the citrus burns off immediately. At that point, the fragrance becomes thicker, a little denser, and it's an incense, violet, and nutmeg-centric scent at that point. Comes across slightly powdery. There's also a dark woodsy feel in the base, and that comes from vetiver mixing with the incense. Now, the incense in this fragrance does not have a ton of depth, okay? So it's not like a really powerful incense note. You don't really get that smoke that you would typically get with incense. It's more muted. It's more just kind of a take on incense, you could say. And the violet and the nutmeg, as this fragrance dries down, mixing with the vetiver, it starts to come across a bit earthy. Kind of smells a little bit like tuber, like a truffle. And the violet and the nutmeg are the two main notes for me from the mid through to the dry down. Now there are supporting notes there, but those are the two that I pick out the most. That one comes across a little warm and inviting. It does smell nicer, in my opinion, than the last fragrance. Performance, again, though, is not very good. Or maybe I should have more emphasis, is not very good. It's gonna be better for fall and winter just because of the notes and the way that they come across. And the longevity that you're looking at there, a little bit better than the last one, but still around about 4 hours. And projection is a little better too. It's not great, but it projects for about 45 minutes, so that's an improvement. Out of all these fragrances, that one is probably my second favorite. All right, next up, let's talk about my favorite one in this collection. It's this one, Maserati by Law Martina. I should have mentioned this earlier as well. You'll notice that all of these say by Law Martina. So Law Martina is an Argentinian clothing manufacturer. They also make fragrances, not just these Maserati ones. So essentially what they've done here is they licensed out the Maserati name, logo, everything else. And then they've made fragrances, you know, Maserati fragrances. And that's why you'll see Maserati by Law Martina, because Law Martina is the one that's actually behind this. So Maserati by Law Martina. This one opens up with citrus and cypress. And this fragrance, if you look online, is actually compared to Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. Now I'll tell you guys, that is not a Tuscan Leather clone. It's not. But it does share a similarity with Tuscan Leather, and that is the leather note in this fragrance and also in Tuscan Leather. Everything else about the fragrances are different. They have different supporting notes, different structures, but the leather note specifically, like if you took just the leather note by itself, it's similar. Now, it's higher quality in Tuscan Leather. I'm not gonna tell you, you know, the leather note in this is the exact same as the leather note in that, just with a different supporting structure, but it does have a similar scent. Okay, back to this one. The citrus fades into the background pretty quickly, which is consistent with all these fragrances. At that point, the cypress begins to mingle with a petrol tinged leather. So the leather here initially does have a slight petrol or gasoline tinge to it, which is personally something that I like. It also has a green, slightly herbal feel in that initial 5 minutes in through to the mid. That herbal feel though does begin to dip out once you hit the mid, and then you're left with a semi-sweet leather fragrance. And whereas in Tuscan Leather you may have, fruity backing notes, amber, things like that coming into the fragrance, this one is mainly a leather with a sweet woody base. And although this is a leather fragrance, the longevity and projection are both below average. This is definitely a more subdued leather fragrance. That one I do get slightly longer longevity, so 4 to 5 hours on this one. Projection though, 30-ish minutes, and then it sits close to the skin. You could realistically wear that one year round, where it's a leather fragrance, though be aware, like I just said, it's a subdued leather. You're not gonna get a lot of projection. And that's the reason that you could wear it in summer, whereas Tuscan Leather, where it's so powerful, a lot of people would choose not to wear that in summer. So that could be a potential positive for some of you, but I know for a lot of you, having weak performance is a deal killer. And before I talk about the last one, let me just go over the giveaway and the code, since that's another thing I probably should have done earlier. Okay, so the code is Gents space Scents. Gents Scents, you see it right here. Use that on Max Aroma if you want to pick up any of these at a 40% discount. which is a pretty good discount. As far as the giveaway goes, and I think that you guys really should try for this because I think a lot less people than usual are gonna try for this, so definitely do this if you're interested. You have to like this video and be subscribed to my channel. You have to follow Max Aroma on Instagram, okay? So you have to have Instagram. They have a photo on their Instagram of the Maserati fragrances. On that photo, leave a comment and say which bottle you would like to win. They're going to pick a winner from the comments underneath that photo and send them a tester of the fragrance of your choice. So it could be any of these. Personally, I would go with one of these, okay? Feel like a lot less people than usual are gonna enter this one because it is Instagram focused and not YouTube focused. So I think you guys would have better chances than usual, and good luck to you guys. And you know, honestly, I'll go ahead and give away one of my bottles too. Hopefully one of you guys can get some use out of these. Be aware that if you pick one of the bottles that's a tester that I got, which is one of these three, it's not gonna have a box, okay? Again, just like the video, be subscribed to the channel, and leave a comment below, and just tell me which one you would like to win, okay? I'm stuttering over my words, but just tell me in the comments which you would like to win. And I will draw a winner 1 week from when this video is posted, and I will do that through random comment picker. I'll pin the winner to the top of the comments. So 1 week from when this video is posted, okay? Okay, last fragrance, let's do this. Pure Code. Now, this one right here, to me, smells like soap, like a bar of white soap. The kind of white soap that you would use in the shower, especially back probably in like the 90s. You know, those just big bars of white soap, and you lather it up really big. And once you get it lathered, you get the scent from the soap. That's what this smells like. Now there is an orange, a citrus undertone, and there's also a little bit of a slight cilantro undertone underneath the orange, and that's coming from the coriander. So if you were gonna break this down in terms of like how much each one of those notes you pick up, okay, it would be maybe 85% bar of soap, and then 10% citrus, and then 5% cilantro / coriander. And that's in the opening. You could say that's fairly simple, I guess, because it is just very soapy. Now I want to make clear, this is not the type of soap that you would smell in a Prada fragrance. So like Prada Infusion Dome, Prada L'Homme, even Prada Luna Rossa. You've got different people who will say, oh, this is soapy, soapy, soapy. You hear that all the time in fragrances, right? A lot of times that comes from lavender and other notes kind of mixing together. With this one, just soap, okay? It stays pretty much the same into the mid. So from the opening to the mid, pretty much the same fragrance. Obviously doesn't project as much once it goes into the mid, but it smells very similar. In the dry down, it's a nondescript vanilla / musk with that soapy feel over top. It is quite light once you hit the dry down. Projection on this one dies out within an hour. Again, we're probably looking at 30 to 40 minutes, and longevity on this one, 3 to 4 hours. Now, if I were going to rank these 1 to 4, this one would be my favorite, which is just Maserati by Law Martina. Second would be Maserati Centennial Polo Tour. Third would be Pure Code. And then fourth would be Pure Code Blue. If you smell these, let me know what you think about them in the comments as well. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. Up until recently, these were pretty hard to get in the US, so there are next to no reviews online for these fragrances. Thank you again to Max Aroma for sponsoring the giveaway, for the coupon code, for sending these for review. Remember guys, Instagram, Max Aroma, follow them on Instagram, comment on the Maserati picture, and one of you will win a tester. And then I'm also giving a bottle away, so 2 bottles being given away. For that one, just comment below which fragrance you want to win. 1 week from today, check back, see if you're a winner, and I will mail it to you. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate all your support. I will see you guys again next time.